Akiba Rubinstein. What's the name of this event? 16th Akiba Rubinstein. Do they play in Poland? I think they might just play in Poland. He was a 20th century, first half of the 20th century, right? If I got this one correctly. And we're multi-broadcasting now. I'm using the leechers.org this evening. I'm going to give it 60 minutes or maybe more. It completely dependable on the viewers. Like, once you get like 1 million viewers, you're probably going to be spending a bit more than 60 minutes. But until I'm reaching my 1 million viewers, I'm going to keep doing what I'm enjoying very much. That is analyzing chess games, improving my personal chess, my friends' chess, and doing some friendly games and casual tourneys and stuff. By the way, this is a live game happening right now. We're looking at Krzysztof Duda, Ian Duda versus the player playing for Serbia, Alexei Soren. So let's look at this. What we've got here is that there is a this white pawn is pretty much advanced, and obviously white would be happy to push them forwards, but you got to do this at the right time. Now the king can't approach. They themselves have got a pass pawn, so to speak, and if you are to consider pushing this guy, you might be vacating the c6 for the king, if that is the move to be played though, and probably an idea. So, and by the way, of course, as you probably guys got accustomed during the live streams that we're doing together, I am not using the software, any engine, apart from my thinking and your ideas as well, because I'm relying, of course, on your insights at the same time. And guys, you're more than welcome to tell me the moves that you think the Super Grandmasters would be playing. What else shall we watch here? Let's see. Vincent Keimer for Germany with Mateusz, if I say this one correctly. If not, apologies. Mateusz Bartel. What happened here? Rook to b1. Whose turn is it? White's turn to play. Interesting. Interesting. Currently, the bishop is defended by the queen. Can black attack the queen? No. So the queen very nicely and safely defends the bishop on f1. Can you actually make that bishop a bit more active? The question would be here. You can't go grab d6 because the bishop is practically hanging. And there is another thing. The rook also attacks the b2. I don't know how the rook got there. I just noticed now as I speak that there is an attack on the bishop. But of course, there is also an attack on the b2 pawn. And that would be also check with tempo. And there is another rook here. So it's a little bit delicate. How do you stop that rook battery actually getting more and more and more dangerous? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good one. And also complicated. 3 minutes now for white here for Mateusz, and Vincent has gotten like 147. So they do very much bullet now, I'd say. Did I put leechers.org on the title, I wonder? I hope I didn't leave the other platform's name. That would be inappropriate, so to speak. Heck, I normally do just copy the event, paste it in the title. I'm choosing chess as a category, and I'm going with my multi-broadcast software, and that's what I do. So thanks for stopping by, my friends, either Facebook, kick.com, Facebook, Twitch, or which one is it? TikTok, yes. Thanks very much, my TikTok friends, for joining. And if you're into chess, you're more than welcome. If you're learning chess, also you are welcome. If you don't know how to play chess, you're also welcome, because you can learn, for instance. And by the way, you can go on my YouTube channel and you're gonna find very many videos. What does that mean? I think like 500 plus videos. I've just realized one of these days when YouTube notified me and They told me I've got like more than 500 uploads. And I realized, wow, bloody hell, that's something. I must have been working for the last 2 years with my pro bono publico activity. And here we are. Now looking at this beautiful game, which is a bullet very much. 1 minute 30 seconds. That's just bullet. Ooh, queen to f2. If you wonder why, it's because queen now defends b2 and still providing defense for the bishop. It's an awkward little position here. I don't know what to say. It looks like attractive also, rook e8 to e1. That's quite an attractive idea, and I wonder if Vincent Keimer going to play it. Because that's two black rooks together attacking this bishop, and quite dangerous, right? I wonder. And from a defense point of view, you can always do bishop g6 if there's any issue, but nope, that's not what he did. He did rook to c1. Huh. Why is that? Oh, of course, rook c1, because rook c2, and we could say a little bit maybe goodbye queen. Rook c2, the bishop defending, oopsie, wait, I drew the wrong arrow here, apologies. So rook c2, let's put some red paint. And bishop, yeah, they try to interpose something in between the queen and the king, because otherwise, anyway, you could still play it. You could still play it, right? And I don't see why not the other rook to be joining the efforts with the rook e2. And I think it's a problem maybe for black, especially after bishop e4 is just too much over pressure here. Queen to f6. So rook c2 had been played indeed. Queen f6. What does they want to do? What do they want to do? Can I just play this? Then there's a check. Then I'm moving. Is there any other check? I don't see any other check. I think the battery is pretty much unstoppable. I hope I'm not terribly wrong. So it looks to me rook e2 is a little bit unstoppable. If I decipher this situation correctly, my friends, feel free to tell me if you see something better to play for either white or black or some other ideas I'm not clearly seeing myself. Well, it looks to me black should be making a battery on the second rank. I mean, apart from the queen d8 check, is there anything else? And then king g7. What other check? There you go, rook e2. I don't see how you're actually going to stop this. Well, you could go for some queen f3 and crazy, but does it really matter? It doesn't look like matter. It looked like Matteo is kind of like going to resign any second now. And I'm happy to see that Krzysztof Duda and Alexei Sorana got their half an hour bonus on the clock. Check, though. I think we could do bishop to g6 and then king g7 if there's any background coming. You're going to move king g7, and I think you're quite cool. And white should be resign. Should be resigning now. What did they... Oh, I see. But I'm taking with check. Yeah, okay, they want to play h5, of course. Hey, there you go. I've said that. I've said this. Okay, there is a check here, and you will not be able to pushing the pawn because I've got rook and bishop together, right? Defending h5 pawn's advancement. So after rook h2, I really don't have any other plan for white here. White's going to play this, rook on h2, and the bishop together, preventing any pawn advancements, unless you want to give a queen and a pawn for a rook and a bishop, which would be very likely the end of. I don't see how white will be continuing beyond this point here. Okay, so I think Vincent's going to do something like rook h2. And that would be the end of it, right? I guess white resigns after. I mean, you might have a queen d8 check, king g7, and that was it. Or does he want to persist a bit more? What I don't know. With maybe taking this pawn, desperately trying to see if he can push the white pawn. It is an adventure. I think you kind of like need to do it because everyone else actually is kind of like pretty much done at this stage, I'd say. Very difficult for white here. I'd rather have black pieces. And the question is Vincent Keimer going to play rook h2 or something else? Is there anything better than this? Or I'm missing a tactic? If you guys think I'm missing a tactic, tell me. But of course, tell me yourselves, don't inquire with the software. I'm not using, you guys know already, I'm not using Engine during my commenting the live events, not even the evaluation gauge, but sparingly every now and then. Okay, King h7 being played. That is... Why the heck didn't he do rook h2? Was it that awful? Or was that a terrible blunder? Weird. Anyway, I'm sure he's seen something that I haven't seen. That is why he's a super grandmaster. But I wonder what that is. That's a mystery. Well, we'll find out shortly. We'll find out shortly, my friends. So that is Mateusz versus Vincent Keimer. Let's peruse through the games that are still ongoing and have a look at Jan Duda and Alexei Soren. Hey, that's a beautiful ending, but ain't that a draw or a tempo matters absolutely, as you know. King 3 pawns, king 3 pawns. I think the black king is very close to the f7. So hello, Simpson. Simpson, I'm very happy to learn until the last day on Earth. That was a name of an episode of The Walking Dead and also the name of a video game, I think, The Last Day on Earth. I'm very happy to learn. Well, I'm going to tell you something else. I'm very happy to learn like forever. So I don't have a problem with the learning process. It's actually what's make life worth living, I guess, amongst others. It's the learning process. It's the knowledge, acquiring of the knowledge, perpetual learning, I think, or perpetual understanding. So yeah, I love to learn and to impart my knowledge, however modest, to other folks that might be benefiting from. So I love to also share the knowledge that I might have for the time being, of course. Because I've learned from others. So you give what you receive, and continuously. That's how it works. Okay. I think this is quite beautiful and instructive, the endgame that they do now, because you would say at the first glance that this must be a draw. But I'm telling you, there is a lot of subtleties hidden behind the pushing of these pawns. So it's not that done and dusted. There is some hidden ideas, and every single tempo does matter so much. It is white's turn to play. I reckon if you move the king to e5, to getting yourself a entry point onto f6, definitely black will respond with e7. And question is, well, how do you proceed after that moment? So king e5, king e7, then which one gonna be? Gonna be f or is gonna be h? And why? Then black can check your king with f6, defended by the king, that is, and then you have to move your king. Where? Do you go e4 or do you go d4? So these are very many ideas, and I think every single tempo does matter here so much. And the king has to stay in close proximity of the pawn chain. Simpson, I'm happy you enjoy the stuff that we do, and I'm very happy about this. Oh yeah, the last video I've done, Simpson, is on the 2 bishop checkmate. In case you were needing. If not, that's absolutely okay. I made it especially because I had a summer camp that just ended yesterday, 16th of August. I worked at a summer camp as a chess coach, and I had a bunch of primary school kids, and I told them throughout the 2 weeks the basic checkmates, the king and rook and king, queen and king versus king, and stuff like that. And I've attempted to do the two bishops, and I've done it. I don't know if they understood it very clearly, but probably they need to practice a little bit more. So that is why I also made a YouTube video. So for all the students or the kids that attended the summer camp, they have that lesson there uploaded forever. Will stay on YouTube as long as forever means anything. And yeah, so guys, if you need to do the two bishop checkmate, you also have a video, and I'm pretty sure there's some other resources, and you can practice on either leechess.org or other platforms, softwares, until you actually master this endgame techniques. All right, so last move, king d7, and guys, believe it or not, a super grandmaster like Jan Krzysztof Duda spent quite a few minutes and he didn't move a single thing. So that's exactly that one that comes to support what I said there. This is actually quite complex and subtle. I'm inclined to say king to e, and after king e7, just pushing f. But it might be g4, I wonder. No, king e5 had been played by Jan Duda right now as I finished the last sentence, and king e7 immediately. Exactly as I had predicted, because you need to deny the white king access on f6. No, he didn't push f4. He went f3, keeping himself in a sort of expectancy, waiting to see what black decides to do next. But then again, f6 seems to be quite logical, which is a check, pushing the white king back. Back or sideways? f6 check, cool. But I can also go d. This is a very, very instructive ending for all of the chess enthusiasts out there. We can all learn from this, because this is a king and pawns ending played at the highest level. So, hi there, Wesley. Thanks for stopping today, this evening. And look at this ending. They haven't shaken hands to agree on a draw here. The guys are still pushing. And last move, Jan Duda's last move was f2 to f3. Personally, I said something like f4. But it must be some tempo waiting for black to actually commit with f6, and to which I think white should be playing king d5. King d5, not backwards. You want to keep your king closer and see what other tempo you've got available. Of course, let's see what black wants to play as well. Shall we go quickly to Mateusz and Keimer, and then David Navarra and Ferosev? All right, let's look at this, guys. That is Mateusz and Vincent Keimer. Another fabulous, fabulous ending here, where, by the looks of it, white is in deep trouble, right? I'm saying white's in deep trouble because it's actually two rooks and bishop, of course, king, versus a king and queen. Now, the only counterplay I suspect for white here, my friends, would be to grabbing some d6 pawn and maybe try push this guy whilst you try to check the black king at every single opportunity you have. But it's easier said than done. Anyway, white to play. I don't know if they should take on d6 or not. There is also check coming here, but then there is this. Then we could have like rook coming over, the rook g to e2, and then maybe you check on e3. Then if king plays, I don't know, you also check with the bishop, but let's take it step by step. So queen took on d6. I'm happy I actually did say the correct stuff. Queen takes d6. What does that mean? Well, it means very many things, but let's just say that the queen pins the bishop absolutely, 1 took a black pawn that actually blocked the white pawn's advancement to the promotion square. That's what it means. So let me just briefly go back. And black responded, boom, f5, checking the king. King goes on f3, f2, check now. And wait a minute. That's checkmate, folks. It's done. It's done. It's absolutely done. Did he actually play this? Let me refresh the page. Apologies. It's just, I was expecting h3 or something, but no, he actually just simply stopped at that point because it's not going to work. So actually, if we go here, we also got this. And again, it's done because both directions will have the same result. Checkmate is coming and game over. Nice one. Very powerful, 2 rooks and bishop. So the only games left are David Navarra, David White, and Vladimir Fedoseev with black. What's going on here? So white is having now rook and knight and 4 pawns. Black has rook and bishop and 4 pawns. Okay. Okay, there is an isolated black pawn, but makes a formidable structure with the bishop here. That is 1. The f3 is the white backward pawn currently targeted by the rook. And I don't know how and when would you manage to play some bishop attacking again. And even if you did that, white's still defending twice. And there is also a knight. You need to pay attention to the knight as well. So that's just so not over. And this is so not easy to play. Well, whoops, that's a mouse slip. I didn't do that actually. So guys, tell me what do you think about either of the 2 positions. The other names, the other Super Grandmasters playing, they've drawn Sam Shankland with Hare Krishna. They drew Radoslav Wojtacek and Andrei Volokitin drew as well. The only victory is Vincent Kaima's. And the other 2 remaining games are in progress as we speak now. If you were white, what would you play right now? I'm interested in also checks. I can see there is also check from the knight and from the rook. And yeah, I think that's to be considered. It's good to take the e-file, isn't it? And you're going to make your opponent to think quite a lot. And that's time-consuming option, I guess. Once you do the check here, you're going to check the black king. And they got to carefully move just to avoid some other potential forks. So that's definitely an option here. Rook f to e2. And also this might be an option. Cheers, thank you. And also this might be an option. Knight to d5. Do you have enough tempi to maneuver the knight in order to attack a7, I wonder? But you cannot. As long as the bishop stays here, you will be stopped. You won't be able to play knight c8 to attack this guy. And there's also the black king quite close. So not going to be that easy and that straightforward. Okay, definitely you have to look for checks and forks. You've got a pawn majority here on the king side. Maybe if you... let me put it this way. If you trade the rooks and if you trade the knight and the bishop, I mean, if you were to erase from the board the rooks and the knight and the bishop, you would have king 2 pawns versus king 1 pawn. Yeah, black also has a pawn majority on the queen side. That is true. So they're also worth attention. Again, they're going to be quite an instructive one. Let me go back to Krzysztof and Alexei. Let's see what these guys do, because that's where we got. Let me just go briefly back. As I said, it's very exciting stuff. Check and sideways. Exactly as I've said, you don't go backwards. You maintain yourself as close as possible to frustrating your opponent's king. So he played king d5, as I said I would play, maintaining the opposition. And if you wonder why it's important to keep the opposition, is because when the 2 kings are opposed, you actually can't make yourself coming closer and getting space or access to attacking the pawns. So that is why it's important to keep the opposition. So after king to d5, obviously black tries to stop them. Now he persisted a bit more with f. h3 tries to make a, yeah, but just simply you can't break through. King tries to go circling the black king, so to speak. h4, and now he closed everything. King tries to come via the e8 and stuff. But there you go. Again, we have opposition here. And if you ask me, gonna be just a threefold repetition, because neither king is going to give way. Black does not want to give way. So the blunder you don't want to do is something like this. So that will be the blunder with king e8, because then you reply king e6 and king f8 and king f6, and then king g6 is gone, and the other two, and then you're going to get like practically 3 queens, right? So black cannot give way here. Therefore, you have to accompany the white king all the time. You mustn't allow the white king to be getting access to attack your pawns from behind. And the only available game for us to having a look now, guys, together is David Navarra, Vladimir Fedoseev. And yeah, we can debate on this one. How would you personally play, guys? Why would you attack? Why would you do that? Also important being white here to not allow rook to the second rank. So he played the king though. He played king on e5 right now as I was speaking to you guys. He did king e5 straight away. Okay, that's limiting the black king. And probably you could also... No, you can't do this right now. Well, you could play rook d2. What's the entry point? How are you going to get your rook to the end? Or so you can't even play rook d7 because there's a bishop. Well, you can play this, and maybe you want to play king f6 and then some knight f4. Well, at least it's a plan. At least it's a plan. So if you want to slightly rearrange the pieces, you might have knight d5 check. If you are to give white one more move, would be probably check, right? Well, let me tell you something. King's not going to go to the left. They're going to go to the right. Reason being, if they don't do that, you're going to play king f6, and that's a problem. Now, after knight d5, yes, we could also dream about knight f4. You do a little bit of a backward move, so you can attack the rook. Does that mean anything? Well, it means you attack the rook. Now, this might be deemed as a draw by the various softwares that we're using. But having two humans playing against each other, probably you should keep playing. Probably you should keep playing. And I think especially white should keep playing. I love this rook. You only need to make sure the f3 is no longer a weakness. How do you do that? Do you actually push the f4? Or do you play check first and then you push? Or you push the pawn and then play check? What's the stuff? And how do you get the rook a bit more active? Or how do you attack the a7 black pawn? Successfully, that is. How do you make that threat? Or how do you attack f5 twice? I mean, king attacks once, yeah, but you can't take because there is a pawn checking and stuff. So you need to maneuver the knight so that the knight attacks f5 twice together with the king. So that might be a stuff because that's how you actually win the bishop and the pawn, and then you create two pass pawns. So let me put it this way. If you manage to move the knight so that the knight attacks f5 at the same time with the white king, you're going to have double attack on the bishop, which is defended once by the pawn. So I think the answer to this is how do you practically maneuver your knight so that it hits f5? And I guess one move is d5 and then e3. And then you have attacking twice the f5 square What do you think about this plan, people? Wesley Simpson, what do you think about this idea, guys? Knight d5 and maybe knight e3. What do you think about this? You think it's workable as a broad idea? Because, of course, black's not going to sit and wait, but it's good to have a plan. It's good at least to identify an idea. So as long as you keep the white rook on the second rank so that the black rook can't attack it, I guess you can move your knight, and you should. And then again, the white king is on a dark square, so the bishop can't attack, and also the rook does not have access to attack the king. So you're relatively safe with the white king for now. Yeah, so I think I completely like the idea. d5, knight to d5, check with tempo, and then knight to e3. I think it's okay. I think it makes sense to try this idea. If you guys see something else, tell me, please. By the way, it's Blackstone here. I can see 17 minutes for David Navarra and 29 minutes for Fedosev. Then, guys, if you want to analyze some of your games after this one had finished, I'm more than happy. Or if you want to do a tournament with our guys here, with our viewers, you also, I'm also happy to just organize this for ourselves in this summer evening. With currently here where I'm residing right now, 22 degrees Celsius. They feel like, though, let me check the weather channel. They feel like 24 degrees Celsius. Okay. Hey, what did happen? King f7 prophylactically out of chess, like anticipating knight's gonna go to d5. So king went to f7 already. But that doesn't preclude white from playing knight d5 if they want to. You can still play it. Because remember, guys, the idea would be knight d5 and knight e3. Right? So that you can attack twice on f5. So you could go with that move regardless. Is there anything else you guys see? I guess you can't move the rook anywhere now because you can't afford to lose f3. So you can't say, I'm going to do rook d2. You can't move away because they're going to take your pawn. And I think you're just in trouble. So the white rook needs to stay where it is at the minute. And you need to investigate the knight d5, knight e3 idea and see if it works something. See if there's anything good out of it. So, hello, my TikTokers. As I said, I'm multi-broadcasting on 4 or 5 platforms. And I think it's the best way to actually do streaming nowadays. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. And I think that's the best, so you can reach pretty much, as many possible chess enthusiasts. Yeah, and I say it again, guys. On YouTube, I'm uploading chess videos, and if you want to check on the latest video, which is on 2 bishop checkmate, you're more than welcome. And also before that, I've done another video with a knight and bishop checkmate, and I tried to explain as clearly as I could. So if you guys want to check on them, you're welcome. So after king f7, what is David gonna play? I'm curious. What are you going to play? Again, doesn't make any sense to move the king back on f4. Unless you want to chase a draw or something, you want to go for a draw, But if you want to try to play a little bit for winning, I think you need to go down this route with knight d5, knight e3. Then you could expect black to actually move the bishop. Could be b1. It could be, I guess. So you can't capture empty space. after knight e3. Knight e3, bishop b1. What do you play after that point? I don't know. Maybe after all 3-4 repetition, not that bad, eh? If the other guy accepts it. I don't see a massive, huge advantage for either of the two players. Well, I can notice they try, both of them. Who's trying harder to win here, white or black? It doesn't seem to me that black is doing the attack. It seems like white tries to finding some waste. But maybe too early. And also another important aspect, my friends. White's pawns, 3 of them, are on white squares. What does that mean? It means that the black bishop, the light square black bishop, can potentially attack him. And there is also an isolated backward. No, it's a backward white pawn on f3, also on a light square. And rook attacks it once. Well, I'm not sure how you're going to bring a second attacker on it, but it's worth noting that 3 white pawns are on white squares, so they are targetable by the bishop. We'll see. So again, personally, I would try knight d5, knight e3. I don't see any other... I don't have any other ideas. I don't know what else I could play. Or knight d5, knight f4? Well, you attack the rook. It's something. Maybe. Knight d5 would be the beginning of the sequence, and you need to see, of course, what black chooses to play next. If it's bishop b1 is one thing. If it's, I don't know, rook g3, that's another thing. Well, rook g3, you reply king f4. And then probably you're going to go back to square one, which might make it very likely to getting a draw here or something. So, bloody hell, he played knight g4. I know why. He found a better plan, knight d4, knight e3. He actually found knight h6, which is a check, and attacking f5 twice. So rather than knight d4, knight e3, which might have some virtues, he actually went via g4 exactly to play on the same idea with double attack on f5, playing knight h6, check, and attack f5. And now, you know something? Black has to either move the king or you move the bishop. Because if you're getting forked, I was about to say something unorthodox, but I won't. Because if you're getting forked here, you're going to be losing bishop and the pawn. Therefore, white's going to have 2 connected passed pawns. You're done with black. You lost here. So, you either move bishop, which probably bishop b1, or you move the king. Where? Well, that's another question. I don't know where you move the king. Perhaps wiser to moving the bishop. And after knight h6, you're going to play king g7. Does that make sense? I think it sort of does. So let me say it again. You're going to play bishop b1, for instance, just saying. And if there is a knight h6, king's going to move. Okay. You play. You keep playing. Notice how the rook can't move on over to d or e file because the f3 is also attacked. Can you play f4 afterwards just to free up the rook? That matters. Freeing up the rook matters. So if you play f4, then the rook becomes movable. And if the bishop is on b1, the bishop no longer defends d7. And you might be able to play rook if the bishop is on b1. It's too many ifs, but that's exactly how you're playing chess. You're playing chess with the if. What if this? What if that? And that's how it goes until the end. Okay. So guys, you're going to let me know if you want to analyze some of your stuff, or we're going to do a puzzle streak, or we're going to do a tourney together. You guys gonna tell me which one is your preferred way. Hello, DPK. Username on YouTube is exactly the same as per all the social media. It's SorenChessCoach everywhere. That's my username. Don't I put a link or something? I normally put a link. Okay, let me type it in because at SorenChessCoach. It's me almost sneezing wearing a blue shirt, so you can't miss it. Something like that. So if you type that in, you're gonna see me almost sneezing with a blue shirt. All right. A picture that was taken, I think, 2 years ago. All right. So, concluding something that still not ended. What's black gonna play? Bishop b1 or king g7, or there's something else? Could you play, do you know what I'm thinking? Could you play king g7, and if knight h6, rook takes, pawn takes, king takes, or is just too wild? What? Hello, Stefan. By my indication here, looks like I've got like a handful of viewers, like 10 or something, and I'm absolutely happy with that. Because it's not just YouTube, Stefan. I'm also streaming on TikTok and Twitch, and it's not just the viewers on YouTube. I've got also my TikTok friends coming and going, coming and going. So yeah. But anyway, thanks for visiting the stream now. How you been doing, man? How's your chess doing? I think you're using the other platform, right? Or maybe, I mean, all the chess players I know, including myself, I'm using both chess platforms, Chess and chess.com. And every now and then I'm using the platform on playchess.com, which has some cool stuff and puzzles and all. But yeah, very often these two. Streaming on both of them, but not at the same time. Alternatively. Okay, so there's no other game now happening apart from this one of the 16th Akiba Rubinstein anniversary. They're playing in Poland. So it might take a while. Would you guys want to play a puzzle, or shall we do a puzzle streak? Some analysis of your most memorable games, or you wanna organize a tourney? You wanna play a tournament, guys? You let me know which way to go. Because I think black gonna take a while here. 23 minutes left for Vladimir Fedoseev. These guys are very strong. He's gonna take his time and calculate something cool. My 2 cents, I don't know. Bishop b1, king g7. What else is here? What else can I do? No, he removes the knight, giving white 2 double pawns. This is a forced move. You must take with tempo, checking the black king. Okay, now we're making a little bit of moving forwards. This is check. King goes g7. What is your next move? Can you march on with the king to attacking those guys? Or there's something else? That's very interesting. Would you do that? It might take you quite some time. Also, in the meantime, black will attempt to grab your guys and try to make use of its own passed pawn here. So which way to go now? And mind you guys, if you play rook g2 or rook f4, black will attack rook h2 d8 pawn. Then what do you play? So what's the strategy for this one? Who's winning? Or is it a dead draw? Is there anything else? If the king was on e6, could you play a check? Most certainly. The king would move, but then the black rook will check your own king, and you got to be careful not to losing your rook. That's not that easy. What's the plan for white? Can you move the rook maybe d and then to d7? And if the black rook attacks your g4, you're going to just play king whilst you attack the rook. That probably is a better plan. Probably. So rook f2, rook d2. If king g3, you're going to play king to f4, attacking the rook. No, he goes this way. He goes rook f4. Okay. What does he want to do? Does he want to do like what? This and something? If pawn moves, obviously you're going to take them all. Huh. That's, of course, another instructive endgame. Another instructive endgame here. He tries to hold on to the pawns. And maybe he dreams about attacking with the king, or with what do you attack? This guy's here, because the attack is, that's the target. 23 minutes, Vladimir Fedosev. 11 minutes, David Navarro. Which way is gonna go? Okay, let's see. 2-2, 4-3, 1-4. Is it a draw? Is this a draw? We'll see. Certainly, they haven't shaken hands just yet. They're still playing. So there's still some happening. Okay, let's do a quick puzzle, and we're coming back to this game, the first round of this exciting chess tournament. We're gonna be watching this game, and in the meantime, we're gonna check with our viewers how do they want to proceed with the live stream. All right, let's do a puzzle. I warn you guys, they are very tricky. They're always tricky. Find the best move for white. What do we do? So let me just highlight all the checks and things and stuff. I guess the victory for white rests on capturing this guy and then get yourself a queen. That's how you're winning with white, by the looks of it. Other than that, I don't think that's very interesting, to giving checks or to grabbing the pawn with check. I'm not sure. Although this is a pawn that you would rather that better not to exist. But the question is if white would be able to actually play something with tempo and then check again and then take this guy and get yourself a queen. So if I understand this correctly, I think white should capture g7. So you guys tell me if you think similarly or not. There's no checkmate here for now. It's just getting yourself another queen. So could be first move, could be queen g8 check, king has to move on the 7th rank. Oh, by the way, they could block with the queen. So that's another step. But even if they block with the queen, you're still going to take g7. So that's totally takeable. And I think we should, because then you might have another check. So I'm going to play queen g8. And if that's the move, that's cool. If not, that means I've missed something. What do you think, Stefan and Simpson? What do you think, guys, and Wesley? Do you think it's queen g8 as a start at the beginning of the sequence? Do you think that's the thing? That's the move we need to do? All right, let me just do it then. Please tell me I'm correct. Yes? Yeah, we were right. At least the plan, I think that's the plan. Now I can only hope I'm going to execute this accurately. I can only hope. So, I'm not sure that's a big deal to grab this guy because the king goes and it could be something though doing this check so that the pawn no longer is a threat or something. It could be check if the king goes obviously somewhere. Then maybe you play queen f7 and you check the king and stuff, you know? It could be. So now actually two candidate moves here, Simpson and Wesley and the rest of my friends. Either queen takes, with check, actually three candidate moves. No, you're not playing queen f7 because even if you take, the black king stops your pawn. You're not going to do it. Or you play queen g7. So two candidate moves here. Profiling, queen takes d5, queen takes g7. I think these are the only two options available for white. Which one is it then? Queen d5, queen g7. I kind of like them both. If I do queen d5 check and king goes c8, what's the deal then? So you do queen d5, king c8. What do you play? Well, you could play queen f7. If queen takes, you take it, then you get a queen for sure. You need to find the shortest way, actually. Sorry, guys, we're going to go back to Fedosev and the other guy playing, David Navarro. So, is it the best way or just take the pawn because you took the pawn? It can never be wrong. You take the pawn and then you do some checks and stuff. Okay, I'm going to take on g7. If it's not g7, very likely it's queen d5. But you know, I think one of them is the first line of the engine, the other one is the second. But knowing how these puzzles are structured, if you do the second line of the engine, it's going to be a mistake. So only one works in terms of winning. So which one is it? I'm going to take the pawn because I'm taking the pawn. And if this guy goes, I could take eventually with check and forking. So probably that for the best. Please tell me I'm correct. Yeah, I was correct with the second move in this tricky puzzle. And now I'm in check. I can't block with anything. I have to move the king. I guess if I make the mistake to moving the king on g4, I'm going to get further checks from all directions. I'm getting dizzy how many checks there are here. But the most dangerous probably is this. So in order to avoid very bad experiences, you got to go h6. It might be another check coming on f4 or e3, but then you're going to move again. And I think it's quite cool. And that's it. King h6, and you're doing very well. White's winning. Yes, exactly as I said, queen e3. You're going to play queen to h7, king to h7, apologies, king to h7. If there's any background or something, you're going to block with a queen. Queen takes, king takes. You got to step aside, get yourself a queen. So that's about it. Cool. I was a bit lucky here. So that's how we did this puzzle. But then again, tricky, complex, could be all sorts of things. They always complex. So, yes, Tafarasta, G8 check will make you force queen trade with black as Blinken and leads to me. Thank you very much for your message, my friend. Thank you. Cheers, man. I appreciate your message. That was a reply via the TikTok platform, and I'm happy to see my friends coming through various social media platforms. So let me go now to Fedosev and David Navarra. It's the last game remaining in the Akiba Rubinstein Memorial, the 60th. I guess they play it in Poland, right? So, guys, look at how the game progressed here. Hold on a sec, guys. So we had this, bang, boom, bang, bang. So we've seen that bishop takes, pawn takes, king goes away, rook f4. Black rook to D, probably because they want to try something like this, or stopping the white king from moving towards attacking those pawns. But the rook plays A4, thus attacking here. Interesting. A5 to not allowing. And whose turn is it? White's turn. Rook goes back. I don't know. The idea that I personally had about moving the king itself to attack doesn't work now because the rook stops you. So there's no way you're going to move through check. And I don't know how you make the rook go away from the D file. They're not going to move away from the D file. Of course not. Actually, they're going to play rook D2, improving the rook and attacking you. So the question is, perhaps you should play rook F2 now. Oh, what did you do? Oh, rook F4. So whose turn is it? Black's turn? Oh, man. Should you go rook D2? What do you think, guys? You reckon rook D2 would be the best move for black here? I don't know if my TikTok friends are still there. I think I had 2 friends that sent me messages. So guys, if you're there, tell me if you think rook D2 would be one way to try an attack. And when this guy goes up, maybe you can go B2 and attack again. Which probably going to be replied with, you've got it, rook F3. You can't give those pawns, right? $7 for David Navarro. I think you should be able to hold the position. Probably the more I'm looking at it, the more looks like it's going to be a draw. I don't know. Do you see any clear way to force a win for either white or black here? I don't know. I don't see any. I mean, you could have an attempt. Rook D2. Then rook B2. Then rook F3. And I don't know what else you want to do. Check. You got to be careful if you check with the black rook, though. Because if you check, you allow the white king to march on D6 and then C6. And then you would have a problem. You would definitely have a problem. So I don't think black rook can afford that thing. I don't think you could do it. It's just way too risky. And I guess loses for black. If you go, if you no longer defend the D file, so you can stop the white king from moving. Yeah, there you go. Rook D2, exactly as I said. At least rook D2 attacks something. And now, well, actually, there is more to this. It's more. If you had played that, also black could attack you with rook D3. And it doesn't work rook F3 at all. And probably you're losing. My God. He's going to take on B6. That's a forcing move. This is a forcing move. Rook takes B6. That's a forcing move. It's got to be this way. Probably a draw. Probably a draw. Probably a draw. The 2 white pawns, it's like 1. They actually double pawns on the G file. So white now is going to take on B6. Absolutely. Of course you take on B6. Right? Or do you move the king closer? Now, what does that even mean? You take the B6 and then try to put a rook in between the 2 black pawns and see if you can take another one. Right. So rook takes B6. Then black rook plays maybe B2. Then probably you're going to play rook B5. Then one of the 2 pawns are going to move. And you can't take because you're losing the rook. So probably you're going to take the other pawn. Quite difficult. But I guess rook B6 must be played. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. Hmm. Let me refresh the page because I can see the clock going for Fedosev. Wait a minute. A rook f6. He didn't take no. Oh my god. Check, but luckily for white, there is a pawn on g5 defending the rook. King now goes towards c6 attacking here. This might be a bit of a problem. Rook checks again. They could have taken on a2 though. Now gonna be king c6? Well, you're in check. What do you go c4? No, you go c6 because you gotta take b6 with the king. Oh man, he plays king e5? Interesting. King e5. Why? Because you want to draw, that's why. And now black's going to play rook e2, and then white's going to go left, and they're going to do this 3 times, and then going to be draw. Or they just agree on the draw, and that's it. Yes, I think so very much that's what going to be. It's going to be a draw, another draw. They're going to be another draw. Okay, let's do another puzzle. Or at least attempt to make another puzzle. So we've done one. Let's go with the next. Let's see what we got here. That's lead chess platform. What am I here? I'm playing with the white pieces. Do we have a skewer? I wonder. Well, if we want, yeah, of course we do have a skewer. But what does it say? Or do we have a fork? Do we have a skewer or do we have a fork? If we play queen h5, we check the king and we attack the bishop. If queen blocks, we take the bishop. And the result would be white with queen and 4 pawns versus black with queen and 2 pawns. Isolated. And I guess long term you're going to win. Makes sense. If you do queen to b and king goes on one of those squares, and if you take and they take, it's incredibly difficult to say how you're gonna fare against the bishop and the 2 isolated black pawns and such. So probably that's the safest route. Queen h5 check, king goes away or queen blocks, and you take the bishop, and you're gonna win eventually. You're gonna win because you got 2 extra pawns. And you got a pass pawn on the D, and it should be winnable. Anything else? I don't know. I would look for simplification or for ways to take advantage, and I guess queen h5 is the deal here. Okay, I'm going to play it, and we'll see if that works or not. So again, I'm looking to check the king and then to take the bishop. And hopefully I'm going to win later on. That's from a blitz game. Oh, that's a shame. What the hell was the move? Was it actually skewer? Why? Why skewer? Why? How you going to win? How you going? I mean, do you actually take the queen or not? Or do you do another check? Then the king moves. What exactly are you doing? Okay, let's see if the skewer was the thing. How the hell you're going to win that easily here? Oh my god, you trapped the bishop. Oh no, you trapped the bishop. You play g3, I didn't see that. I thought it was actually good. Yeah, probably it's winning, but this one is a shorter way to winning. You're trapping the bishop actually. With g3, the bishop can't move anywhere. That's a shame. That was a shame. The move that I played with queen h5 probably wins, but it takes longer and it's a complicated chess ending. And it takes some time. Whereas this wins quicker. The bishop has to take now, and you're going to take, again, having a pass pawn here. pawn majority, and you're winning. You're winning. Down the road, at some point, you do win. So let's see if these guys shook hands. Yes, they did. They did. They did. They made it a draw. Let me go to the last move of the game, which was the 51 move, and they agreed on a draw. Okay, so that means, guys, we could do another puzzle, or you can copy paste the link with your memorable game in which you've managed to win against a very strong opponent or title player, or it doesn't matter. It could be just a regular game, and that's fine. So, what do we do? There's a couple of ideas. Probably something related with rook. And some knight either f6 or h6, something like that. But in what order exactly, I'm not sure. It could be even a knight sacrifice. It could be. Could be knight h6, to which black doesn't even have to take. They could just move the king, I guess. You could also do this in order to plan for knight f6 and winning the queen. That's another idea. And even if they play the queen, let's say, or queen e7, right? You could still have this. No, you can't. It's impossible. Knight f6, queen takes. Queen takes, and you just lost. It doesn't work. So it got to be differently. I don't know which way to go. Should I play a knight sacrifice first? And if I do a knight sacrifice, should I go f6? Yes, that's forcing. Pawn takes. Queen takes. If there's bishop g7, then rook g3. But then they play queen f8. True. There's a knight sacrifice. I think it's a knight sacrifice. I think. Knight f6 or knight h6? Knight h6, let's say they take. Well, they could go h7. And you go e4. Yeah, well, maybe. It doesn't. I don't like it. Knight f6, perhaps. Knight f6, knight f6, knight f6. Probably. Pawn takes. Check. You don't take f6. You do check. Yeah, still the same. Bishop blocks, queen takes, and queen f8. What do? You could push this guy if you think black's gonna wait for you to do this. All right, you can. I don't know if you want a cable or something. You need to go get it. I don't know. Can we afford the tempo to play rook d3 to rook g3, keeping the rook on this file, and then we're gonna play maybe some knight f6 or h6? It could be rook g3. And maybe then king moves. Yeah, well, king moves, we got this. That's quite strong. So rook g3, yeah, that makes sense. If there is a pawn, then you're going to take with the knight. Pawn is pinned, can't take, and that's check, and the queen is gone. Is it rook g3 or knight f6? One of these two. Let me look again, knight f6. Knight f6, right? Quite strong. Fork and attack the queen. Check and attack the queen. So they have to take. That's a must. Rook g3. The bishop blocks. Queen takes f6. For the checkmate, and queen f8. Where's the winning? You do h4, and you need two more tempi. I don't know, the rook goes somewhere. But then you're going to move again. Bishop can't move. If king moves, God knows what you're doing. That's another complex. Rook g3, rook g3. Yeah, they do g6. No, they don't do g6. You play knight f6. Knight f6 takes, plays, blocks, takes, queen f8. So how do you win this? If I had this position in a real game or in a personal game, I would definitely go for rook g3, I guess. It seems to be the most robust, the most solid way. Rook g3. Quite a move. And then I would consider some knight f6 or knight f6, pawn takes, rook g3, bishop g7. No, they can't play that nonsense. You're going to take on g7. It's knight f6. Knight f6. This guy takes. Knight f6. This guy takes. Knight f6. Oh, it's got to be knight f6. Was rook g3. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink. It was rook g3. Rook g3. I said I would play rook g3 if this stuff was on a real game. I should have listened to myself. Now we could go for this. King is gonna go in the corner. No other choice for them, and then queen h5, the finisher. Okay, doesn't matter now. You know, it's a shame. I actually seen the move that I was supposed to play. I even said I was supposed to play. But hey, we're gonna do another attempt, but I still have to go and get another beverage. And we'll do one or two more puzzles, guys. If in the meantime you wanna copy paste the link to your memorable game, feel free to. We're streaming on the LeeChess.org platform this evening. Probably tomorrow gonna be the other one. There is 2 big chess platforms. And yeah, cool stuff. All right, guys, we'll be returning in a sec. Okay. Right. So let's see how we doing the next one. Okay. Continue. Okay. Wait, no, black to move. Find the best move for black. Okay, what have we got in here? Rook battery. There's a checkmate threat, so I can't prepare anything. Whatever I play, gotta be attacking move. So it's gotta be a check. That's the most forcing move. The bishop is pinned. That could also be checking and then trading the rook. Checking the king, then take the rook. Because if you take the rook now, white could just simply take the other rook. So that makes me think that I could play, for instance, rook d1 check, king has to move. And then I'm going to take, because otherwise I get checkmate on g7. I'm going to take the rook, queen's going to take. And then I need to find a way to push this guy successfully and promote. I guess this is the bigger plan. This is the bigger plan. What do you think about this particular position, guys? Tell me. Tell me, what do you think about this? If this, how it's supposed to be dealt with, this puzzle. Oh, let me move the chat box because you guys can't see whose turn is it and things like that. So let me put it right here in the corner of the screen. You guys see? Yeah, okay, I think that better now. Find the best move for black so you can see what's going on. I guess that is a bit better now. Cool. And let me lock the chat box as well so we're not moving around. And okay. So you guys can see now it is black's turn to move. Black's turn to play. I guess that makes sense. Check and then take the rook. What else? Check and then you take rook e7. Let's do the check. Yep, we were correct about that one. And now to make it, I mean, you get checkmated, right? There's a checkmate on g7. You have to take the white rook. And then with a little bit of accuracy, you might be able to get yourself a queen. Yep, that was exactly the case. Question is, should I push? I don't get any other check. I should push. And whatever white plays, I'm able to push again because the bishop defends, and then I'm able to push again and get myself a queen. So I think this is the plan, my friends. We're going to play b3. There is no other check white can play. They could just push the pawn to make a bluff here or whatever. To which probably I should push the pawn. Can I just ignore it? I don't want to ignore it because they're going to take. I have to take. Then, you know, another check via this, e3. So you push white pawn up. Again, no other checks incoming or frustration or nothing. It's guaranteed another safe pawn move and another. Right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we got to do this. Yeah. Okay. So probably that was a good plan. I had a good plan previously too, but I messed it up. So, but this one worked. This one worked, my friends. That's cool. Oh yeah, just reminder, on the 7th of September, Hans Niemann plays Magnus Carlsen. I definitely want to cover that one. Their live battle in Paris. We'll cover that. In the meantime, we're getting ready. We do another puzzle. Okay. Rook is pinned. I can get my rook on c2. Rook c8, c2. Pressure on the pin piece, right? how they used to say on chesskit.com, PP on the PP, put pressure on the pin piece with rook c8, rook c2. That makes sense. I mean, it could be some others, but that seems to be the move. And if there's any queen, I may even play rook e2, attacking the queen. Still pressure on this guy. I guess that's the way to play. I hope I'm not wrong with this. I hope that's the right way to continue. Rook c2 then. Let's just play it. There you go. Oof, the first move was correct. Queen to e1. Challenging the queen and stuff. We don't have to trade. That's not a good idea. So I think I have to go to the idea I speculated, which is rook c2 to e2. Still pressure on the pin piece and attacking the queen, denying the trade. And also having the... But I don't think knight c2. No, the queen's got to go, though. And after queen goes f1, then we can do the other rook, f to c8, with the attempt to play rook, the other rook on c2 and increasing the attack on the pin piece. I don't see what else. I don't see what else. Then rook e2. I like it. Yes, correct. But now, because the king had moved on f1, the queen is hanging. And I guess we should just take queen now. Rook takes, move the queen to safety. Like d3 with check. That I think makes sense. So we should be winning the queen now. Okay, that was cool. We did it. Yep, we got this one as well. I think we've done 3. We messed up 2. But one I messed up actually was almost done, but I wasn't confident and clear enough in my thinking to play the right way. So yeah, but that's okay. It's part of the process. So yeah. You guys see the text? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Success. Fantastic. Next one. Kings here. What resources have I gotten? Bishop. Bishop. So no castling for white. There's a check here. They're going to block. Wait a minute. There's a check coming, but I could block potentially, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I actually don't know how I play this. I could do check, which is a move with tempo. Then they're going to play c3. It could be, it could be. Then I might be able to play queen out in the game. Like, where exactly am I supposed to go with the queen? Queen to g. Okay, they're going to check me. I'm moving the king. They take my rook. And then I'll play this. I need to get the bishop away with b4, so they play c3. Then I'm going to play queen g5 in order to do queen c1 checkmate virtually, even if they take my rook. So by the looks of it, guys, I'm going to go bishop b4 to make space for queen g5 in order to do queen c1. So even if they check me, I should be okay, right? And this one is a move with tempo, guys, mind you. So if I do bishop b4, it's a move with tempo. Checks the king. Other than that, really, I don't know how to play it. I don't know how to play it. So I'm willing to give a bishop and maybe a rook in order to get queen g5 or queen c1 checkmate. So actually, I want to get my queen to c1, right? I got to do this and this with the queen, that is. And then I should be winning. Okay, if that's not the plan, I don't know what else to do. It could be some crazy knight d3, but they don't have to take. After knight d3, they could just move king, whatever, right? What is a knight d3? Knight d3. Let's say pawn takes. I play this guy. They go here. Where's the check? There's no bloody check. There's no nothing. So I got to go to, again, bishop b4, then queen g5. And that's how you play it, I guess, right? Yes, sir. That's the case. Again, we don't take or crazy because then knight takes, and even if you play that, it's not going to work. So you got to be willing to give up now the rook and the bishop, and you do queen g5 or queen c1, right? So queen g5 for this, which is a checkmate. It could be some check from the queen, but you're going to move king e. No, you're going to play bishop f8. You're going to play bishop f8. You're not going to play king e7 because they still might be checking you with the bishop and delaying and stuff. So queen g5. Bingo. And now, my friends, we're very close to the objective truth, which is, I hope, bishop f8. No, the queen is under attack. I'm talking complete nonsense. I apologize. Sorry, I was just thinking that actually they're gonna... No, I'm taking the queen. I take the queen, right? Of course I take the queen. Because if I don't take the queen, I lose my queen, and there's no one to checkmate with on the back rank. Cool stuff. Cheerio. Thank you, guys. That's SorenChessCoach. Check my YouTube video, guys. And I'm going to come back tomorrow, Sunday. Going to come back and do some puzzles together. Maybe a chess tournament if you guys are interested in. And going to be super cool, I guess, for those of you that are in love with our beautiful game, the game of chess. Thank you, guys. And